What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the SHIPIT Nation cash game show here. We're talking some week 5 cash game plays. A little bit different time, a little bit different format today. Hoops going solo. Guy title having some technical difficulties. If you watched the Showdown Thursday show, kind of saw those technical difficulties. So still carrying on. He's going to get a situation fixed. So you get me by myself talking some cash game plays. And as you can see, we're going to be doing the screen share here again this week. And this is the solver. If you don't have the solver, you can get it in the link below or on our website. Part of our pricing packages, we're partnered with the solver. All our projections and ownership come preloaded into the solver if you sign up through us. So get on over there, check it out. It's great optimizer. Again, I started using it for NFL, did some baseball stuff, but man, I'm really getting used to it and like it a ton. It's very easy to use. I mean, if you're doing GPPs or anything, like the rules are very easy right here. They give you some basic ones. If you want to stack your QB, I know this isn't relevant for cash, but I just wanted to point this out. You can get a quick QB stack here. You can avoid the opposing defenses and make sure you're using a good chunk of your salary. Get some game stacks in there, avoid tight end in the flex, which this year has been good because these tight ends have been terrible. And then you can kind of cap the number of skill players you have for each team. And then the advanced settings are pretty cool too. Like if you got a quarterback, you're going to play, at least one of their pass catchers or whatever you want to do. But yeah, we're here to talk cash. Over at ShipItNation.com, if you're not a member for cash games, we give you 4 cores for FanDuel, 4 cores for DraftKings, and the reason why you should play those guys. Our guy Title handles that, and Title is in the cash game streets. He's not just posting these plays. He's in cash game streets for every single sport. Been very, very successful, and that's kind of the reason why we have him doing it. He does a phenomenal job. So make sure to get on over there and check it out. If you are not a member, we launched this 5-day package. 5-day mission gets you full access to the website for $19. Thursdays are a good day to sign up because you get Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, which takes you all the way through the Monday night football game. So it gets you all NFL content for week 5. MLB playoffs, PGA is going right now. MMA is back, and then in the future, obviously, we'll have NBA and NHL. So get on over there, check it out. Let's see what we can do here for cash games. We'll start DraftKings. We'll start at the quarterback position. We have our projections loaded in here, and just sorted by value here because in cash games you want to kind of target the guys that are the best values. This has Ryan Tannehill and Joshua Dobbs as the 2 best values. That's because they're very cheap, and the spots actually aren't all that bad. But for cash games, don't think I love it. I think Jalen Hurts is very viable at the top at 8,000. Don't even mind Matthew Stafford in that same game. It has a big total sitting at 51-ish, I believe. So either of those 2, I think, are cash game eligible. If you have, big balls, Daniel Jones, 5,800, he has all the rushing upside in the world, but it's a tough click after you watch that Monday night game against the Giants. He had no time whatsoever to do anything. Got sacked 10 or 11 times, and man, it was not a good scene for him. Last year, Jones 5.8K would be an easy click. This year, it's difficult. Mahomes, I prefer Hurts over Mahomes. Kirk Cousins gives you exposure to that game, that Chiefs Vikings game that has a total of 53 or 54. So that's a viable option. For me, honestly, I'm looking at Hurts. I'm looking at Stafford, and then maybe Kirk Cousins as the cash quarterbacks this week. If you really, really want to go cheap and play a guy like Tannehill, think in play if you get everything else you want. You just get the nuts. You get all the plays that you want, and you have to play him at quarterback. I'd be fine potentially doing that on DraftKings. But, it's only $700 more to get Stafford, who I like quite a bit more, who could potentially have Cooper Kupp. So Hurts, Stafford, Cousins are the 3 that I'm kind of looking at here. Let's go over to FanDuel. We'll talk quarterback there. Let's see. FanDuel, enter again. So let's see, quarterback. You're always more times than not going to pay up on FanDuel opposed to DraftKings. Hurts, it's a good price tag at 8.6. Coming down here a little bit if you want to save some money. Stafford at 6.8. I'll be honest with you, I think it's probably just Hurts on FanDuel. Just play him. It's a really good spot. That total's 51. Had the big game last week. I think he's going to start rolling. There's just not a big enough price difference between him and some of these other options. The goal here is to get you guys on the right path for cash games on FanDuel. I think you just play Hurts at quarterback 8.6. It's not a prohibitive price tag at all. You can still get other studs in your lineups if you wish. I'm good with Hurts here at 8.6K. All right. Let's talk some running backs. Do us a favor, though, on this video. Before we move on, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe. Helps us out a ton in building up this channel. The support has been overwhelming so far, but, we'd appreciate a little bit more. So hit the like and hit the subscribe. All right, let's pull up SHIPIT Nation projections. And, man, all right, so we got Alvin Kamara at the top at 7.1K. When we get over to DK, I think definitely more viable there, but certainly viable on FanDuel as well. Like 14 targets, I want to say last week, creates a really high floor. If he finds the end zone, he's almost certain to have a big boy game. So in nature, he's a better DraftKings play, but I'm totally fine going with him here at 7.1K on FanDuel. Javonte Williams last week, that was not a fun roster, very popular in cash games, did not get the job done. But at 5.7, we could potentially go back to him. I don't think there's any injury concerns with him this week. I know he had left that game. Let me just see what his status is looking like before I keep talking about him. He's officially listed as questionable. He missed practice on Wednesday. So, yeah, we need more information on that for sure. Joe Mixon at 7K. Again, it's been a tough click this season. Has not been very good. Their offense has been complete shit. 7K flat. Don't mind him. Bijan Robinson is definitely a strong play here at home against Houston. Houston has been an improved team. There's no doubt about it. Robinson 8.2 at home. Big touch. I mean, he gets all the carries now. They're giving him more. Not all of them. He gets the majority of them. He's getting 5 to 6 targets a game. If he finds the end zone, it's going to be kind of like lights out. So I'm fine with him in cash. A-Chain, 7.5K. I'm assuming the backfield kind of turns over to him a little bit now. In play, Pacheco had the big game. He could easily have another big game. Breece Hall's a name that's interesting. They said they're going to shift more of the work over to him. No snap count or anything like that. He's full go. 6.5 is fine. Wow, they got David Montgomery all the way up to 8.5K on FanDuel. That kind of prices him out for me. It is a good spot. He is probably likely to find the end zone here against Carolina. But the guys I'm certainly looking at, Kamara, Mixon, Robinson, Pacheco, and then Breece Hall are kind of the 4 or 5 that stand out on FanDuel for me. Flip over and to DraftKings. Kamara's only 6'3", like I talked about. I mean, just a really good play on DraftKings. 14 targets, got 20-some fantasy points last week, and didn't find the end zone. If he finds the end zone, he's just the guy that you absolutely need. 6'3" is far too cheap, so I think he's a really strong cash option. We talked about A-Chain over there in play. Bijan Robinson for sure. If spending, there's no spends because Christian McCaffrey's not on the slate. So 7.7 is the most expensive. I mean, running back on the slate, be fine with him, but I don't think you have to do it. Mixon at 6.4, and then David Montgomery much cheaper over here on DK. So a better play on DK opposed to FanDuel. DeAndre Swift, Breece Hall, Pacheco. There's a lot of guys in this low 6s, mid 5s, mid to upper 5s that we can play this week. We have to monitor Kieran Williams, see what his status is. That's important information going into the week. Kamara, Mixon, Montgomery, Swift, Breece Hall, Pacheco are the guys here on DraftKings that we're kind of looking at this point. We'll stick with DK here. We'll go to the wide receiver position, and at the top, no surprise, Justin Jefferson. Do we have the 9-4 this week to make it work? We have to see. I mean, what sort of value we end up with? Do we get like a super cheap running back or something that we can play? But I'm good with Jefferson at the 9.4K price tag. Prefer him over Tyreek. I mean, it should be a game where the Dolphins just absolutely have their way this week. 9K for Hill. Like, I don't know if he ends up getting there, so I'm not super interested in him. We do have a lot of cheapies though that I want to mention. Wan'Dale Robinson, we talked about him on the showdown slate. They're just trying to actively get him involved, and this passing game is crap. I mean, they have no time to pass. I mean, Daniel Jones got sacked 11 times, but Robinson, they're just actively trying to get him the ball. 3K flat, definitely interested in him. The other cheap options, Robert Woods at 4K. You have to like what we've seen out of the Texans offense so far. Stroud has looked phenomenal. 4K flat for him, I think, is a play. Calvin Austin, 3.5. Probably prefer Wan'Dale, but Calvin Austin, 3.5, interesting. And then Josh Downs at 3.7. Garrett Wilson in play for cash, 6K. Zach Wilson finally looked pretty good in that game against the Chiefs. I think that was Sunday night, I want to say. And if he's going to look good, Garrett Wilson's a guy that we can definitely consider. Marquise Brown has been very active in this passing game. One of the better spots for Arizona at home against the Bengals. Come down a little bit. Cortland Sutton at 5.4. Sutton at 5.4. I don't mind that price tag. He's been Russell Wilson's favorite target for the most part. Thielen, big target monster. Lazard's another cheap guy, 3.9K that we can look at. So Jefferson, if we have the money. In the mid-tier, I think it's Garrett Wilson, Marquise Brown. You can throw Thielen in that mix. You could probably even throw Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton. Those are the guys in that range. Cheap guys, we have a bunch. Wan'Dale Robinson, Robert Woods, maybe Calvin Austin, but I prefer the other guys. And then Allen Lazard, with as good as Zach Wilson looked, I think he's a guy that we definitely can consider this week in cash games. Check out FanDuel, see what we can find over there. Change it to the 10. Oops, don't want that. SHIPIT Nation, wide receiver. So a lot of the same names are kind of popping here. Jefferson up top. Amon-Ra St. Brown, because he's under 8K. Just got notification before hopping on there. It sounds like he is going to play. I know he hasn't practiced, but it sounds like he is going to play. And we've seen it before where he's dinged up or listed questionable. He plays and he's totally fine. I think that is the case here this week. So definitely fine going to him. The pricing is a little more difficult, I'd say, on FanDuel for cash games at this wide receiver position. DeAndre Hopkins is only 6.1K. Robert Woods, 5K. Be fine with that. They did price up some of these guys, like Jamar Chase is 8.7. AJ Brown is 8.2. So you get a couple mid-tier options here, which I think are pretty good. Marquise Brown and Michael Thomas. Marquise Brown, 6.4. Thomas, 5.7. Be fine there. I mean, Pittman at 6.6, potentially be fine there. Wan'Dale Robinson, 3K flat on DK. He's 5.4 on FanDuel. Not as good as a play, but if we go to build these teams and we need like a cheap option, be fine doing that. Jerry Jeudy, 6.1, another option. Thinking about playing Mostert and A-Chain because the Giants suck. Not together, I don't think. Like, just play one of them. I mean, it's very likely one of these guys finds the end zone this week, and at their price tag, that's probably good enough with the yards they'll get. I mean, the Giants do suck. I definitely agree with that part, but I don't know in cash if you necessarily want to play both. One, though, definitely in play. And it seems like A-Chain's a guy that's kind of taken over that position. So just some guys here on FanDuel. Amon-Ra St. Brown is underpriced over here. Thomas, Marquise Brown in the mid-tier. Jefferson, if you can get up there, 9.2. I mean, I think we can probably make that work. DeAndre Hopkins at 6-1. And then if you want super cheap, Wan'Dale Robinson would be my preference at 5-4. I guess Calvin Austin's super cheap. I mean, he's all the way down at 4-8, but, Pittsburgh Steelers pass catchers, not the most fun spot to go to roster guys. So it's kind of where we're at. FanDuel wide receiver. Heading over to the tight end position, we'll stick here on FanDuel, and we're going to want to save salary at this position. We got Travis Kelce's stupid price tag, the 87-89, because of the Taylor Swift connection. I thought it was a joke, but no, it's the real deal. Also, yeah, if you guys do have any other questions in regards to cash games, fire them in here. I'll definitely answer them because by myself, and it's easier to answer questions than fill time just talking to yourself. So feel free to fire some in there. If you want to spend at a tight end on FanDuel, Hawkinson at 6-8, I just don't think we need it for cash games. Goddard has been so bad this season. I mean, they're not getting him involved in this offense. He's 5.5K. I'd be fine going to him this week. I like that game. I want exposure to that game. 5.5 price tag for Goddard, totally fair. And especially if I'm playing Hurts at quarterback, which I said you probably should, you get that natural pairing a little bit. Cash captain for tonight, if you're watching the show live, the Thursday night game. Cash captain, I think the play is for cash. We'll have it all up on the website. We'll have the core. But at this point, I'm going to say it's Sam Howell. I think Howell's the guy you go with. He's pretty cheap, and I have a hard time believing he doesn't have a decent game. Is Boyd viable if Higgins is out? Yeah, certainly. I mean, if Higgins does sit, like Boyd, he got a lot of catches towards the end of that game. Just let me pull up the price tag. At 4-5, I mean, it's a very fair price tag. 7 targets last week. He's been getting targets with Higgins in there. 8, 9, 7. Without Higgins, yeah, he'd be a very solid cash play. Other tight ends here on FanDuel. I'll continue to play Chig, especially if Burks is out. I believe Burks didn't practice yesterday, so it does seem pretty likely that he's out. Chig, and then, obviously Hopkins would be in play. So this is assuming Burks is out. Chig, Goddard are the two that I'd be looking at. Laporta's up there at 6K. I just don't think we need it this week. See what's up with Irv Smith if we need to save any more. But I imagine they'd still use some of those other tight ends. So what I'm looking at, Goddard, Chig, most likely be one of those two for FanDuel cash at the tight end position. Let's go see DK. Tight end. All right, let's see what we got. So the price on Kelce is a little more fair on DraftKings versus FanDuel. Let's answer this question real quick. Sorry if I missed it, but is Robert Woods in play for FanDuel cash? Yeah, I think he's in play on both sites, FanDuel and DraftKings. It's tougher on FanDuel because we don't have a ton of these super cheap guys. Like on DK, I think for sure I want to play Wan'Dale Robinson, assuming he's in. But he's a little more expensive on FanDuel's, and him and Robert Woods are closer on FanDuel. So, yeah, I think Woods is definitely in play, FanDuel cash, as it stands now. We might get some sort of injury that propels someone way up and makes them a better value. But for now, I think I'm good with Woods. It'd be one of Tambo's little things, good with Woods. Kelce, a little more viable if we get some super cheap options. And then you have the same guys that have been cheap all season. Zach Ertz at 3.5. Goddard 4.2, Chig at 3.2. Funny to see Kyle Pitts down there at 3.3, but that's kind of where he's at. So again, you're gonna save money here for sure. Most likely, again, unless we get some really concrete value and then we're able to pay up for Kelce, I'd be fine with that. But more times than not, you're just saving money. Ertz, Goddard, Chig are kind of the guys that I'll be looking at on DK. Again, fire some questions in there if you guys have them. I'll answer them along the way. Usually don't talk a ton on defense for cash. I'll just throw out some that I think are in play. This likes the Titans, and yeah, if the Titans 2,400, yeah, like if you need the savings, totally fine with that. They're playing the Colts. It's basically a pick'em game, relatively low total. I'm fine going there. If you can get up to one, though, this Dolphins team is looking very appealing this week after what we just saw from the Seahawks against this offensive line. I mean, there's no stopping them. Dolphins are huge favorites. So if you have the money, get into the 3-6, certainly an option. Swift, yep, I mentioned him, like better play on DK. They're using him a ton. I like that game. I like getting exposure to that game for cash games. The price is better on DK, so certainly a cash game play. Good question. Are bringbacks as important in cash GPPs? They're not important at all, to be honest with you. Like, you don't need to worry about it at all. And having a run back, nope, don't even think about it. Again, if you're playing your cash games and if you're playing your cash lineups in GPPs, then maybe look at something like that. But if you're strictly playing head-to-heads, 50-50s, multipliers, don't even worry about it. So on DK here for defense, yeah, the Titans at 2-4. If you have the money, the Dolphins are in a phenomenal spot at 3-6 against this Giants team that just gave up 10 or 11. I can't remember. Someone in the chat probably knows it. 10 or 11 sacks. It was a crazy high number. So yeah, that's a fine option there if you have the money. Head back and see. I just want to check out the defense over on FanDuel. So yeah, it's looking like the same stuff. You have the Titans at 3-5. Our projections like the Saints. They like the Colts. Where is Miami? So Miami is up there. So they got their price all the way up there at 4.9K. So they are a little more difficult to play, I think, on FanDuel versus DraftKings. We have so many like cheap-ish options. So don't talk a ton of defense, but that's kind of where we're at at the defense position. So a little bit of a different show this week. Our guy Title having some connection issues, obviously. So we'll get him back. We'll be at the same normal time slot next Friday, and we'll be talking some more cash games. If you have any more questions, obviously get in our Discord. Can ask questions to any of our people anytime, any day. We're always all in there. If you're not a member, we have the 5-day mission. $19 gets you full access to our website, NFL. It's a good time to sign up because you get Thursday night, Sunday, and Monday football, MLB playoffs, PGA's going, and also MMA's back this weekend. So gets you access to all that content on our website. But yeah, that is going to do it here for the Cash Game Show. If you have any other questions, get in our Discord. We're in there available. And then also the cash game content will come out Saturday at some point. 4 core plays on FanDuel, 4 core plays on DK from our guy Title, who absolutely crushes cash games, head-to-heads, 50-50s, and the double-up contest. So good luck in your contest. We'll be back next week. Let's go ahead and ship it.